Okay, everybody, welcome back. I'm so excited to kick off this session, diving a little bit more into financial services. So are we doing good? Are we having a good time? Okay, I'll take the head nod. So this session is going to be centered around transforming wealth management with Agentic AI in MongoDB. So I'm pleased to announce Pimon Parsi to kick it off.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, this session is going to be 30 minutes of presentation, including a live demo, and then followed by a fireside chat with Capgemini to talk about everything agentic. So let's get started. So imagine you are an investment portfolio manager. Markets are moving fast, news are breaking globally, technical indicators are changing and shifting every second, but you're not overwhelmed. So you have an AI agent that never sleeps, scans the market, analyze the news for you, generate the sentiment analysis, and give you portfolio reallocation options before even traditional risk indicators show up on your screen. So this is the world we are stepping into today. So in this session, we're going to explore how Agentic AI, with the power of MongoDB data platform, is going to transform wealth management. Let's get started. So traditional wealth management is based on structured data and rule-based algorithm. So a lot of prices, information around trades, orders is all structured data. But this landscape is changing. So there's new type of unstructured data that gets in the way of wealth management and create a lot of values. So these are like social media messages, tweet messages, news, different type of text-oriented data that you need to analyze to have a better risk management and portfolio management, and also give you an insight, actionable insight that you can have better decision about your portfolio. So these type of unstructured data come with some sort of challenges, and 3 of them I indicated here. Number 1, so your data solution need to be able to handle this type of unstructured data natively. If it's not handled natively, you're going to run into different type of problems like performance and availability and so on. So handling unstructured data natively is one of the challenges. The second one is about growth of this data. So in fact, 85% of the unstructured data that's going to be produced is going to grow exponentially. So the data platform that you are thinking about wealth management, modern solutions need to be able to handle that scalability of the data. And the vertical scalability typically has a limit, and there's a cost involved. So the data solution you are thinking to bring in needs to be able to horizontally scale. So horizontal scalability is another challenge for the data solution. And also data needs to be real time. A tweet message that is from yesterday may not have a real value in your risk algorithm or whatever you plan to do in terms of decision making. So the data platform needs to handle the data in real time. So MongoDB addresses these challenges. So it's an operational real-time data platform that provides horizontal scalability through sharding. And also, it provides a flexible document model to handle all type of data, whether it's structured data, unstructured data, or semi-structured. So platform is capable of handling that natively. But things doesn't stop there, so we have comprehensive set of capabilities here that supports your AI journey, especially in capital market. We have capabilities like time series. If you attended keynote, so our newest release of MongoDB handles the read performance 200 times faster for typical time series and compared to the previous versions. So there are capabilities that built in the platform that supports and tailored more toward wealth management and capital market. Time series is one of them, but we also enable wealth management capabilities by something we call AI-ready architecture. And this is a combination of capabilities that are built toward handling AI workload. Vector search is one of them. So you need to have contextual search in order to understand that unstructured data, and we provide that as part of the platform. Another part of it, so you need to trust whatever coming out of AI, and in order to increase that trust and accuracy, we're also introduced embedding and re-ranking as part of our recent acquisition of Voyage AI. So these capabilities being integrated as part of same data platform, and you have access to AI-ready oriented capabilities of MongoDB when you implement something based on MongoDB data platform. But that doesn't stop there. So it's a platform that is agnostic to the location. So the experiences stay the same if you're on-prem or you're in cloud, or you can run it on the laptop. So great foundation for your AI workload on top of very resilient and highly secure platform. So the AI agents are game-changing technologies. So they have ability to understand their environment and react to the environment limitations. They can plan and break down the complex workflows to smaller pieces and run those workflows independently or with human in the loop. They can interact with different type of tools like vector search or embedding, but also any type of APIs. And they have this flexibility of accessing different type of tool depending on the use case. They also have memory, short-term and long-term memory, and this is the persistent layer that you have continuity in interaction with the agent. So if you're asking something for the second time, or if something that agent needs to learn from that conversation, so that's stored as part of their memory capabilities. So in terms of autonomy, so that's a key part of differentiating agentic versus typical AI, because these AI agents, through chain of thought, have capability to reason and run their actions and run their workflows. And that decision making, it make a difference between agentic AI and typical AI. So MongoDB enables agentic AI with multiple capabilities. So it becomes a persistent layer because these agents are stateful. So they need to store their state somewhere, and MongoDB is optimal target for that. As I mentioned, short-term memory, long-term memory. If you come back again and interact with the agent, you don't want to start from scratch. So you want agent to remember that. And that's provided as part of short-term, long-term memory. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. Vector search, embedding, and also MCP server are part of the capability that we offer, and interaction with AI framework in a seamless way. So we thought putting together the power of MongoDB platform and agentic AI and build a demonstration of wealth management solution that is powered by AI. So this is the AI workflow. So data ingestion layer ingests all the data, whether they are structured or unstructured or semi-structured. Some of those could be in the form of events. The data points may not happen every day. So things like macroeconomic indicators, GDP, interest rate. So those are not the things that happen every day, but it will have an impact to your portfolio. And you need to consider them as part of your algorithm. And so we wanted to bring in all sorts of data to a layer that the AI agent can do analysis on top of that data. And the middle layer is the analysis layer where multiple agents work to produce the reports that you can see on the insight side for portfolio manager. Portfolio manager coming in every day with a lot of actionable insight that are generated by the agents, and they can review it. And if they're not happy with the result and if they still have questions, they can go to an AI assistant agent and ask additional questions. And we built a demo for this, and I'll show you momentarily. High-level architecture of this. So first of all, not everything has to be agent. So for example, when we look at the data ingestion layer, we decided that doesn't need to have agent capability, or in fact, almost no AI capability. You just ingest the data like a typical application. So we are basically bringing in all the data to MongoDB, whether they are crypto assets or conventional stock assets, there's structured data or unstructured data, such as news and social media, Reddit messages, for example, is social media. We try to ingest it to MongoDB. And then there are 3 agents here that work on top of that data to make intelligent recommendations. So the agent on the top is responsible for market trends and looking at primarily structured data, but also combine that with part of unstructured data. So the agent in the bottom, there's primarily unstructured data agents. So these are the agents working on the news analysis, identifying what is the sentiment for news and what is the sentiment for social media messages. And this is built on top of LangGraph framework. And MongoDB is the primary storage for that. All the things that these agents are generating in terms of report is stored in MongoDB in the vectorized format. And then it's provided to investment portfolio manager in the form of insight, is it charts or dashboards or reports on daily basis. And the top part is the prompt agent or React agent. When you can, through the prompts, you can ask questions about your portfolio and your asset and market condition and everything that is created and generated by the other agents. So this kind of high-level architecture. So here there are 4 agents, and then there are 2 other applications in pink one that are not agents. So when you design your agentic AI solutions, not everything has to be agent. So there are parts that doesn't make sense to be an agent, because you want to use an agent when there's a decision making. You want to use an agent when there is an efficiency, significant efficiency gain as part of your workflow, or you want to use the agent when there's productivity to be gained. But if the workflow is straightforward, just saving the data to the database, it may not need to be an agent. So this solution is kind of mixed, and I'm going to go through the different components of that. This is the data load. So basically, we interact with different APIs and different data sources. Some of them are structured, some of them are unstructured, but we try to cover both crypto and conventional stocks and show you how we can store them in the collections in MongoDB. Here, as we bring that data in, we also use Voyage AI embedding model. So Voyage AI has finance domain specific embedding models that give you higher quality in terms of retrieval. So, and the higher quality range is debatable depending on your use case, but somewhere between 7 to up to 40% better response. So if you use the specific models, so this particular model is used for capital market and especially on the news and sentiment calculation. So, and we get high accuracy based on this model. But the platform is very flexible. If you want to bring different type of models, it's fine too. So it allows that. So the 3 agents that I showed you earlier, so they are responsible for analysis of this data. For example, the analysis agent is responsible for trends, patterns in the market, and also look at volatility and create the insights for portfolio manager in relation to trends in the market. The other 2 agents are mostly about sentiment calculation, so sentiment analysis, and give sentiment scores based on different ranges that you can define, and then portfolio manager can see what is the sentiment of news versus sentiment of social media, other messages that being posted. For the social media, in this example, we use Reddit, and for the news, we use Yahoo Finance. But The sources is up to you. What source you want to use. It's very easy to ingest that data and bring them in. We also use aggregation framework here. It's one of the capabilities in Mongo. It allows you to filter and merge data at the database level with no ETL. So because when you do analysis type of work, for analytics use cases, you can use aggregation framework, and that's available to you to be used. And this is the React agent. This agent is more sophisticated. It's a prompt agent where you ask questions that could be in free text form and is not predefined before. So the workflow for this agent is every time you ask, it will determine what is the right tool to go and find the answer for you. For example, if you say, so I want to know, should I reduce my position in Bitcoin today? So this agent would know that it has to go first, check the allocation in your portfolio. What is the allocation for Bitcoin in your portfolio? Go back to the result of other agents and check the database to see what they would analyze in terms of trends in the market. And then it can come back to you and looking at sentiment score and combination of different factors and suggest you with some actions. So we thought in financial services it's very important to have that human in the loop action there, because you're dealing with money. In finance, if something goes wrong with these agents, the impact could be huge. And the industry is not ready for fully autonomous wealth management at this point. So a lot of people are experimenting that, and what we see across the industries in different use cases in wealth management, majority of them are based on human in the loop. So at the end, through the prompt, when you ask the question, the answer you receive is also subjective. But what you get with this agent is also a memory capability. You can see on the top, there is a checkpoint capability in Mongo implemented that you can store the memory of the agent, and then you have continuity in interaction with the agent, and you can go back and forth, and you don't need to start from scratch every time you want to analyze something. So we use Anthropic LLM here, Claude 3.5 Haiku model for the LLM side, and Voyage AI embedding model Finance 2 for increasing accuracy for everything else for embedding. We also implemented MCP server for the demonstration purpose, and MCP model context protocol has a lot of promises and capabilities when you're building agents, because then it's a language that it's human-centric, and you don't need all these skills. You know, in the business use cases, a lot of the capability can be enabled for business users without knowing the SQL queries or things that they need to know how to deal with the database in the traditional way. In the new way, agents can use human language to interact with the database. And so we added this as a capability that I will show you momentarily. These are just a summarization of all the capability we use across MongoDB in this particular case. You can see Atlas charts there. So this is one of the capability we provide in terms of data visualization. These are similar capabilities like your Tableau or Power BI, easily implemented on top of the database, because once you have the data in Mongo, so this capability is available on Atlas, part of your package, and you can easily visualize that data. I will show you some examples. And for the rest of it, I already spoke due to time constraint. I'll bypass that. So what are the major benefits of this solution from business perspective? So first of all, you get the real-time portfolio recommendation, because you can handle unstructured data in real time. As I mentioned, some of these social media messages or news messages, they're time sensitive. You need to be able to handle them in real time, but this data is messy and it's unstructured. So MongoDB handles this data natively, and you are able to get the response or retrieval on context that you want to get out of that data in real time. And you can be proactive with the risk management in your portfolio. If something needs to be changed now, you can get ahead of the curve and apply those changes proactively, because agents work behind the scene, and this is tremendous amount of unstructured data that human won't be able to digest and analyze. So the agents will do heavy lifting on unstructured data for you, and you can be proactive with your risk management algorithm. The other benefit is cognitive scalability, because as a portfolio manager, now you're enabled with the agent, and you are able to manage many more portfolios compared to what you used to do. So you can scale and use decision-making capabilities, and you can basically handle and manage many more portfolios compared to what you used to do. Bring efficiencies basically for portfolio managers. So these agents can learn from the experience, and the quality is going to increase as you work with them. And the risk management algorithm that they would run for you based on combination of structured and unstructured data is getting better as they go, because the agents have capability to learn, reason, and action, and then go back to the history and continue from that point. You don't need to start everything from scratch. And then decision support. This is about supporting the decision by portfolio managers, not about replacing portfolio managers. We're not there, so still human in the loop. And also, it's about judgment, human judgment, that at the end of the cycle, so portfolio manager will make those decisions. A couple of key takeaways before we go to the demo. So Agentic AI is a game-changing technology and has a lot of potential about decision making. Depending on your scenario, so these agents, they can reason, they can find out what is the root cause, why something happened, how did things happen, and then analyzing all the unstructured data in more cognitive way. So try to use this technology to solve the business problem, not for the sake of technology, but there are a lot of promises and potentials in Agentic AI applicable to wealth management. So MongoDB is a great foundation for your AI workload. And we provide, as I mentioned, AI-ready architecture, all the capabilities that you need to start your AI journey as part of the platform that are related to the data. So everything that is related to the data layer, we try to kind of consolidate and put it together for you to have less cumbersome workflow and easier implementation. And in the end, modern wealth management is no longer about static and structured data. It's about dynamic data that is going to be enabled by AI agents. And in fact, Gartner predicted that by 2028, 80% of the wealth management processes will be enabled by the agents. So game-changing technology, but I think you also need to always validate your ROI with the AI use cases and making sure you solve a business problem. So this is the QR code for our demo. So we have a source code in GitHub repository if you want to try it yourself. So everything that I presented is in this page. You can see all those architectural diagrams, and it could be a good start. It's for demonstration purpose. Don't put it in production, but it's a good way to start and learn about Agentic AI. So, and then quickly I will run through a live demo momentarily. Okay, so this is the dashboard, AI-powered portfolio management dashboard. You can see here on the left top, these are all the charts that you can see here are enabled by Atlas chart. The charting capability that I mentioned to you available on Atlas and you can use it. These are all built based on that. You can see the performance of portfolio here. On the right side, on the top, you can see the pie charts, the assets type and asset distribution by symbol. On the top of here, in this section, risk profile, the application allows that risk profile to be changed, and it's going to be effective next day. So depending on the risk profile of investor, you can change this, and the AI will have a different response. When you change that, will have a different kind of analysis depending on your risk profile. So right now the risk profile is maintained as high, and but this is part of customization for personalization of your portfolio depending on the risk your profile that it's related to the investor. So you can change it, and AI will consider that. So we also have macroeconomic indicators. These are in the indicators. You have GDP, unemployment rate, interest rate. They're not changing every day. They have different intervals, but this is also kind of data that AI will consider, and trend of this data we wanted to bring in to make sure, because some of the portfolio management decisions are not just by what's happening instantly in the market. Some of them, they have long-term implication, and we wanted to mix it with this type of data as well. So in the main part of the stock portfolio here, you can see the symbol, asset type, closing price, allocation, but you can see two sentiment scores here. One is for news and one for social media. And then sensitivity around VIX, GDP, interest rate, and unemployment rate with different colors. And I'll show you in a second how these are structured. So I just want to pick SPY. And this is the result of what agents analyze in terms of market news and market trends, and generated these reports for each of the indicators. For example, 50-day moving average, there is analysis, and there is diagnosis. For VIX, also in relation to that asset, to SPY, we have what is the trend in the market, and what is the assessment of recommended action by the agent. And as you can see, we divided to multiple indicators. We didn't want to have a consolidated view because the market is not there. So the portfolio managers just trying to learn about this capability, and we wanted to make sure the flexibility is there for them to be able to analyze this data and then decide themselves that is these recommendations are applicable to their portfolio or not. And you can see the colorful dots here. And these colorful dots, if I go back to the higher level, is different by asset. And you can see different colors for different assets. And that's the result of what AI analyzed in relation to those assets. And for example, in GDP, so because the GDP is positive, increase in equity assets is basically recommended. But because this is more linked to equity, if you go back to bond, you may have a different recommendation depending on the type of asset. And that's where the AI will have capability to understand that asset and then come back with some sort of recommendation. Here we also have atlas charts for your market data. You can implement candlestick charts out of the box with atlas charts. So this is the example of news. So top 3 news applicable to SPY here, and different sentiment scores based on thresholds that you would define. And so same thing for social media. So we handle Reddit messages in different channels. We bring them in, and then we run the social sentiment for each of these news assets, and then in relation to what's happening in the market for that particular asset. This is an example of where the data sits in Mongo, and these are raw news data that's coming in, and on the right side, these are what agents are producing in terms of result. Just going to show you some of the examples here, and also same thing for social media for sentiment calculation. So it's calculated by each of those news. The sentiment is calculated by each of those news, and we use Finbird. By the way, we use Finbird API for the sentiment analysis, very popular in financial services. And then AI will do final analysis on top of the news. And then the memory section that I mentioned through checkpointing functionality. So these are checkpointers. And the data is stored in binary format. The memory of the agent, basically short-term and long-term data, is stored in binary format. And then through LangGraph framework, you can interact with this memory directly in the more human readable approach. We also have this AI assistant, the one that is prompt-based. You can ask questions. In this particular case, if latest sentiment for gold and U.S. equities, and the agent will be able to go and analyze the data that are created by the other agent, but it also combine that with capability about searching internet as well and bring some data. So you can see here it uses different tools. So the market analysis tools, and also go back to internet and find the answers for you. Or you can ask if I want to potentially 50% change the impact of shifting 50% of equity holding to gold, what would be the impact? Or you can type a free text questions, but this the way that is implemented is based on the information is available and brought into Mongo. I will come back with some recommendation and key insights, but at the end of the day, it's up to portfolio manager to decide if this recommendation is acceptable or not. And then you see this time the tool is different. The tool that agent uses is different. So the agent has capability of choosing different tools for type of your question you're asking to find the answer for it. And I think for the interest of time, I will leave it at that. So I'm going to stick around after the session. We're going to start the Fireside Chat session right now. And if you have any question or you want to see more of this demo, I'm going to stick around after the session. Come and speak to me. Happy to answer any questions. So our Fireside Chat will be with Pankaj Sharma, VP of Financial Services from Capgemini. I'm going to invite Pankaj to come to the stage. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for inviting.
So Pankaj, it's great to have you here. So you have a very long and practical experience in Agentic AI.
I won't say long, but yes, practical.
Yeah. And I think it's great to hear some of those use cases you see in the industry. Where do you see Agentic AI trending? But let's start with introducing yourself before we get to the subject.
So I'm Pankaj Sharma. I'm part of Capgemini. I work at Insights and Data Practice, and I'm responsible for our banking and capital market business in North America. About 20 years in the industry, majorly focused on data analytics. Go back to data warehouses, and now we're talking Agentic AI. So we've seen the journey. And thanks for the opportunity, Pavan.
Yeah, no, that's great. Great to have you here. And that's what we see there's a lot of experiment around agentic AI these days in different section of financial services. Everybody is trying to learn, it's a new technology, and also try to assess the risk of technology and value that that technology can bring to the table. That's why we built the demo, just to demonstrate, but there's still more to learn and more to do.
Oh, definitely. I would say, like, it is a game changer, as you mentioned in your session, and I think most of us here do agree it's a game changer. What you see in the financial industry, I would say AI is going to be the power behind the banking industry. It's going to reimagine the whole business processes, the way the business processes are currently developed and currently implemented. With Agentic AI, it's going to change. It's going to change, and it's going to bring in all those efficiencies, definitely a huge cost reduction, as well as the predictability in the processes. But that's kind of a goal that the industry is looking for. But before we get into that, right? So you also mentioned like the trends, right? The trends that currently financial industry is looking at is like, how do humans interact with the AI agents in the organization, right? You showed an example of this wealth management. So a wealth advisor, being a human, is interacting with the AI agents, but decision is still with the humans right now, right? So it's going to stay like this for some time unless we get to a place wherein we have a better handle on the risk these agentic AI systems going to bring in, right? So there's definitely another one is the hyper automation, right? We see when we looked at the demo, right? And if you think like, go back, say, 2 years back before this agentic AI systems were in place, or even we were thinking the demos that you showed, the whole analysis, portfolio analysis, preparation for a meeting that the advisor has to have with the customer takes a couple of days. There are data analysts who are sitting behind the scenes preparing these reports for the wealth advisors and all that, right? So it is definitely a step forward in the right direction, but as you said, the risk has to be validated. It has to be measured before it's rolled out into production and made autonomous.
And we, as part of MongoDB, objectives and strategy, we're trying to help with those risks, trustworthy AI outcome. But one of the examples I show here, it was Voyage Finance 2 model, so they increase the accuracy and better outcome and quality of those AI.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are the use cases you see for agentic AI across financial services?
So, I mean, as I said, the whole business, there are a lot of business processes each business process is a use case, right? We've already seen some of the advantages like in AI assisted chatbots, or we've seen like in call centers as well, where your agents are taking help, or the call center agents are taking help of the chatbots as well as the AI capabilities to handle the customer conversations that are happening. But as we move forward, building autonomous, say, wealth management use case, or the whole regulatory compliance is a long process, is a large data intensive process. There's a lot of automation that can be brought into that. The customer experience going beyond just the chatbots as well, the hyper personalized customer experiences, contact centers. So those are the use cases that we see. Fraud is one of the good examples wherein right now the risk, or I would say the speed at which you can detect the fraud with agentic AI systems, if implemented properly, is going to help save a lot of cost for the banks.
Yeah, the fraud use cases are an interesting one because, like, when you look at the payments transactions, it's all structured data in nature, where the agents are really good at combining unstructured and structured data and find. And what we see across the industry is there's a lot of social media and other third-party data that is coming to play in form of unstructured that plug into the fraud detection platforms these days. And the new generation of fraud detection will be AI enabled. So that's really
I would totally agree with you.
Change the landscape there. So in terms of our partnership and why MongoDB is used quite a bit in your solution, can you comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, see, we've been partnering with Mongo for years. We have done multiple data platform modernization initiatives along with MongoDB for our customers. Now, I mean, I don't have to get into a lot of details. The demonstration that you showed, it tells you the capabilities of the Mongo as a data platform to support the agentic AI journey, right? You got the vector search in there, right? You got the embeddings as well that I just saw. I hadn't seen that earlier though. Okay.
No, it's new.
It's new, right? So, as well as the other aspect is think of your flexible models, right? I don't have to transform a lot of data because of the model capabilities that MongoDB data platform provides. And as we said, it's just not the structured, it's unstructured data, right? The unstructured data on the same platform, along with the structured data, can be analyzed by the agents. That's what I call is game changing as well, right? So we've added a lot of value for our customers doing pilots and POCs on the along with Mongo as a platform for our customers.
Yeah, the document model and flexibility in the schema and ability to change the data on the fly without downtime. You know, in the traditional databases, you have to shut down the database and all the application to apply a change. And you have to go through a rigorous process of schema design and validation and all that. So which we eliminate that process, and it's much more intuitive. That's been part of our core value prop since the beginning.
Yeah, and that's very useful in our scenarios.
And we are investing as well in AI-ready architecture, as I mentioned. So the game doesn't stop here. We keep asking our customers what they want to see in that layer, and we're going to keep adding more capabilities there.
That's right.
So I heard that you guys have Agentic AI framework that you built recently. Can you explain what does it?
So we call it as a CPGA. It's Composable GenAI architecture framework. So what we started seeing is we built a lot of pilots with our customers, but pilots are not making into production environment. They get stuck at multiple toll gates, MRM being one of the major ones, model risk management being the major one. Or even before that, even getting a clearance from AI steering committee, which is figuring out whether this use case makes sense for us to implement and all that. So we figured that, you know, innovation is given the technology that the customers have, innovation is easy, but it's the production deployment that's taking time, right? So with that in mind, we built the CPGA as a platform. That's basically, it's a framework which has like 4 major pillars, I would call them, right? Value-based pillar, which is used to do the value analysis of the use cases, right? Prioritize them, align with the organizational capabilities and the objectives. So because there's a lot of manual effort currently going in the banks through spreadsheets, use cases are submitted, and there's a prioritization. So there's a lot of efficiency opportunities there. The other one is your scalability, right? So our platform is cloud agnostic, right? And MongoDB plays a huge role in that, being our data backbone for that, and for the same reasons that you explained in your demonstration, right? So it's a scalable architecture, cloud agnostic. Then it provides the security, both data privacy as well as data security, as well as the security to the agentic systems, agentic platforms as well. So with those capabilities, what we are trying to do is, it's an acceleration. It's not a product in its own. We are trying to help our customers set up those processes along with technology, use AI to enable AI faster and get those use cases into production.
Okay, so this is not an equivalent of LangGraph or other framework. It's something at the business layer,
at the business layer,
enable and accelerate.
That's right.
The business.
That's right.
And yeah, so we see a lot of also confusion in across the industry. For example, a lot of people asking me what is the difference between RPA and Agentic AI, and I think the real difference is about decision making. As I mentioned, these agents are able to analyze the information and recommend certain things or decide which way to go and workflow, and they plan themselves. So those capabilities are not available in automation. So this is more like autonomous decision making that make these agents different.
I agree.
So if some of the folks in the audience wanted to start their journey in Agentic AI, so what would you recommend? Where do they start? Based on your experience, I think you have been dealing with a lot of clients who are at the early stage of this. What would be your recommendation?
So I think there is no one set path. It's based upon the organization, how the organization is built and the organizational structures, right? But I believe important aspects are ensuring that the use case definition is proper, right? ensuring that there is this whole governance and risk committee that propagates the ideas of what is the life cycle of agentic AI application. It's like we have this software development life cycle, wherein the developer community is really aware of what toll gates the application that they're building is going to go through. Right now, it's a discovery phase, right? We do not know what are those toll gates. So can the global risk committee that the banks have can publicize those capabilities to the developer community so that they're aware what's going to come next, right? So that's another important aspect. And another one is like just try, use the capabilities that the organization is providing you. At least start automating the work that I'm doing as an individual employee to do my work. Start doing there, and that's when you start moving into the application development journey. And
yeah, that's what we see across our client base as well. Everybody is learning this industry. And especially agentic AI is at experimental phase.
Yes.
There's no 100% answer to all the questions.
That's right.
But as long as you're learning and try to focus on business values, really ROIs, really what kind of business problem you are trying to solve, and see if this technology can help is really
I totally agree.
the key.
Yeah.
And I guess the AI is not going to be the last innovation.
No,
so as you make your way to build more better data foundation for your future, you are paving a way for future innovations as well, and that's really the key.
Yeah, I totally agree with
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. This is the end of our session.